So,
Do you have a New Year's resolution?
wow, you're just like jumping right in. No, hi, how you doing?
No
What's been
hi.
going on?
No.
Nice to see you.
No.
What happened this week that was interesting?
No.
Really?
Resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
What is your New Year's resolution for this year?
I don't have one yet.
Well, shit, there goes the episode.
I go back and forth on New Year's resolutions. Like, there's nothing magical about January 1st, but there is like sort of the idea that like, oh, it's a new year, so it's a clean slate, you know. But I don't think I've ever kept a New Year's resolution like very long. And
I've very, very rarely made one. And I feel like it's only been because I've been at school and you'll have those school things like, what's your New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
Which I don't, why are you being personal with me? You don't care.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I guess, I think one thing that I have struggled with my entire life, and if you were to say you have to pick one resolution, like one new habit, one good change or something like that, I think I would say getting myself to bed earlier on a regular basis, because I'm always tired. I have a very bad habit of doing the bedtime procrastination thing. And then I always feel like crap, and it affects all the other parts of my day because I'm too tired to do a lot of stuff during the day. And then I just stay up.
The world runs on morning people.
It really does.
And I
extroverts.
Hate it. And extroverts. Because my ideal sleeping time is 4 to noon.
Well, that is natural for your age, actually. It'll like change over time.
Yeah, for me, it's like consistently I will fall asleep at 4 and I'll get up at noon and I'll feel fine. If I'm woken up before then I'll be groggy as hell. Mm-hmm. Even if I go to sleep earlier than 4, I'll still be groggy. Mm. But if I try to stay up past 4, it's really hard because I just feel super tired. Mm-hmm. So 4 to noon. That's my sleeping time, and I'm at this point used to waking up at 8 o'clock anyways after falling asleep at 4. So, here I am.
Fun.
4 hours of sleep a day.
Yeah. Ooh, that's not good. That's not healthy.
No.
I'm
suffering.
But there's so many things that are connected to sleep, right? Like, It's not just being well rested and then having the energy to get through the day, but there's also all these studies that show if you're not well rested, your body craves more fat and sugar.
That's very self-deprecating of our bodies.
Right. And
you're being unhealthy, be unhealthy more.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you're not being unhealthy enough. And, one of my other resolutions, like every year would be like, I'm going to lose weight, but I really think that for me, the sleep is the root of the problem. And so if I could fix that, then I think a lot of other things would start to fall into place.
Comfort and health is such a big thing for people. Like, I remember...
Imagine that.
I know, right? It's crazy. But I remember, like, for so long, stuff like sports teams and stuff would be, like, solid beds and, like, hard-worked routines and stuff like that for the sports team. And there was this one sports team, actually makes me think of Ted Lasso when thinking about this, but I don't remember what it was. Somebody told me it, so I'm getting this from like secondhand source, or third hand, I guess. Is that this coach came in and like didn't like have these amazing techniques for the sport or anything like that. He just got them new beds that were comfortable and good for them. Mm-hmm. He like got he like threw parties and everything for the players, and they like would go out to eat and stuff like that. And then they started having a winning season after not
Wow.
winning for like years in a row.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think people fully understand the value of rest. Like, because there's also like bosses that will push and push and push their employees and be reluctant to give them breaks and like not be cognizant of downtime of, maybe there's companies that just don't give enough vacation time or
For some reason,
know.
people think that being hard on someone is the only way to work something into someone.
Yeah, there's a really big I think
That's like
lowering with each generation, but
that's like teaching your dog tricks, but instead of giving them treats, just beating them.
right.
Like that's such a
Right.
weird philosophy to have.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's still a very American mainstream ideal as like being tough as nails and like gonna, and not recognizing like your body needs rest and your minds need rest. You know?
Who's gonna live longer, sucker?
Right. Yeah, right.
Who's really tough?
Not so tough in your coffin, are you?
What was it that I said the other episode? Just like be born right or something like that, or like maybe you should have been born better. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel I really like, CGP Grey, and I know I showed it to you a few years ago when he first did the episode.
Yeah.
But it's like to have a general theme for the year instead of being something specific like a book a week, because then you really limit yourself to something. Mm-hmm. So would your year of be a year of bed?
Actually, I was
year of sleep.
I was thinking about that because I was thinking about the year of theme thing.
Could do year of relaxing.
But no, I actually, because for me, I'm always like I have a hard time. When you first showed me that video, I was like, I can't imagine limiting to one thing. Like it just felt so. It's
a very common thing. I feel like for people to be like, yeah, I feel like especially the book a week thing. Maybe not a book a week, but I think a lot of people do like I'm gonna read like 2 books a month or something like that. Mm-hmm. I feel like whenever it's books, it's always something specific.
Yeah, like I'll read X number of books.
But he pointed out, he's like, if you just make it year of reading, you might discover that you actually like reading articles and not books. And so then you'll read maybe an article a week instead. But like as soon as you miss 1 week of not reading a book, then you're suddenly not motivated to continue doing it anymore.
Right.
And so just making it year of reading is like, oh, if you go a week that it was really busy and you didn't read a book, you can always read the next week.
You know what always ends up happening with me, because I always set a goal on Goodreads of like, I'm going to read this many books. And then inevitably what happens is I read like a few books in the first half of the year, right? Like I don't read that many books, maybe one a month. And then I'll get to like July or August, sometimes even as late as October, and I'll go, oh my gosh, I'm so short on my goal. And then it's such a weird thing, and I feel like obligated to this specific goal. And then I will start reading a ton of books. And then instead of looking for books that might interest me, I look for short books.
Yeah.
Because I want to get my goal in. And so then I end up reading all this stuff that I don't really care about. And it's like, why? But in my brain, I'm like, I have to hit this goal.
Yeah.
So I do like the idea of like the year of reading, like just being like, I'm going to read more. I'm going to, and I think I may release myself from a specific reading goal this year and just, I do want to read more, but like not be so focused on like that goal. Cause I want to, maybe my thought process about it will be read more things that are interesting to me and enrich me and whatever. But I do think like year of sleep Year of rest, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Year of relaxing, year of
Yeah.
rest. Because then it's even broader.
Yeah, but for me, really, the thing that I need to work on is the sleep. And I remember, I think it was a Reader's Digest thing. There was a like a campaign that was like just change one or something like that. And the idea was we try to change too many habits at once, and so we get
Definitely.
overwhelmed and our bodies shut down, and we're like they're like, where's my routines? Where's my habits? Like, and the idea was just change one thing at a time instead of trying to be like, all right, I'm going to start getting up earlier and running and eating salads. And you know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to change everything about my life all at once. So I think for me, the sleep is good to start.
I think that includes planning.
Planning?
Because I think what a lot of people do is they hear that and they're like, okay, so I'm going to do this for a month. And then in a month, I'll start. So like right now, I'll start eating healthy. And then after I've been eating healthy for a little bit, I'll start running in the morning. And so those
Seems like a better approach.
I think it's a better approach, but I think you're still limiting yourself because then you only have a month to eat healthier.
Right.
And then you're still focused on it. I think you just need to be like, okay, right now I want to feel better about myself. So I'm just going to eat healthier. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing. Mm-hmm. I didn't really mean to, but I was just like, I just kind of want some better stuff from it. Like, I'm not going to get like Cheez-Its or Goldfish or candy. Like I've entirely cut out red dye 40 or yellow 5 or any of those dyes. And I've started eating more fruits and vegetables. And like I've been eating carrots and celery with ranch and bunch of berries as snacks instead of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still eat cheese and crackers, but that's not exactly bad for you. So
It's not the healthiest snack, but it's better than chowing down on a candy bar.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just completely lost what I was going to say. I started the sentence and then it just went out of my head. Okay.
Well, then I'll go on to my New Year's
Please
resolution.
do. Yes.
I'm also kind of unsure. I kind of want to do year of reading. But I feel like I already did that this year because I started reading a lot more comics than I used to, and that was mostly because Dad gave me the iPad, and so then on the iPad because it was, my gosh, I really wanted to read comics, but I had the comic app on my phone, and reading it on my phone was so hard to do and like hurt my eyes and everything. It was hurting my neck. But getting the iPad, it's basically the size of an actual comic book. So it was like, it was perfect. And so I started reading a ton. And so I kind of want to just be like year of reading and just continue reading. But I almost feel like a New Year's resolution has to be something new. I mean, suggested by the names. But now I'm thinking about that. I'm like, that's such a stupid concept. Like, why would I have to make a new thing? Why couldn't I just make it my New Year's resolution to just keep up what I'm doing?
Yeah, actually, that's kind of great.
Like, why do I have to do something new and fandangled?
Fandangled.
I don't know.
Fandangled.
Yep.
I like it.
Me too.
Yeah, especially since a lot of people. Wait, I'm actually really curious. I can't remember what percentage. Like, I think most people abandon their. I was gonna say revolutions.
Don't tell the French.
Yes.
By January.
Yeah, but like they don't even get out of the month.
Yeah, I think some people also just forget. I mean, I think it's a fun thing to do in the moment, but most people aren't really serious about it. And so they'll make a New Year's resolution and just forget. And then in like February, they'll be like, oh yeah, I was doing that.
Right. Well,
I think other people will strive to do it and then just like fail once. Like I said, they'll like skip that 1 week.
And then they'll be like, it's all ruined.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. dieters tend to do is they're like, well, I've eaten healthy today, and then they're like, oh, I just ate a candy bar. Well, the day's ruined, and then they just like eat a whole bunch
out.
more. So yeah. So here's research suggests that only 9% of Americans that make resolutions complete them.
I feel like that's too high.
That does actually kind of feel high, which is sad. But it says research goes on to show that 23% of people quit their resolution by the end of the first week, and 43% quit by the end of January.
That sounds about right, though.
That does sound about right.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to start it in January.
Yeah, I mean, you can start anytime.
You can just be like, for the rest of the year, I want to do this. Or just say for now on. You don't even have to say for the year. I think even a year is limiting. I think what you should actually say is like, I just want to start doing this now.
Yeah, thinking back to that change one thing that I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think the idea, a good idea would be like to do that until it is just a habit in your life that is like your way of life now. And then maybe you can add another thing.
Yeah.
That feels like that would be more doable and more sustainable because you've made it your thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen all kinds of different things like, oh, it takes 3 weeks, it takes 6 weeks or whatever.
There's no time limit on it.
Well, the thing is though, the key is consistency. If you can just, I think even if we could just switch our mindset, right? And just be like, okay, I'm going to do this for the next 3 weeks. And then I'm releasing myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then by the time you get to those end of those 3 weeks, then you're like, oh, now I'm in the habit of doing this and I actually kind of like
gotcha.
it,
Yeah, maybe. But then I think some people will also just take the release.
Sure.
Because they'll just take it as an assignment.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things I see. Like there's even one thing I was reading about concentration, and it was saying just if you're having a hard time getting down to work, right? Just be like, all right, I'm just going to do this for 5 minutes. That's all I have to do is just 5 minutes so I can get something done on it. And then like you get to the end of 5 minutes and you're probably kind of into it then. And you're like, okay, I'm going to just 5 more minutes. And like, you just keep doing that. And then eventually like your brain is like, oh, I'm able to concentrate on this thing. Now I'm into it.
Yeah. Doesn't work for me. That's for sure. Yeah. I don't know. I think for me, it's the assignment. I think as soon as it's assigned, I am disinterested.
See, I'm the opposite. I respond well to deadlines and schedules and parameters.
I'm so traumatized by school. Just
I think
none of that.
I think for me, school made sense to me, and so that's part of the reason why it's still like a motivator for me to have. Like if you just tell me like, oh, I just need you to do this thing, but you don't give me a deadline, I'm gonna like put it off and put it off and put it off until you're like, have you done that thing yet? I really need it by tomorrow. And then I'm going like, oh crap, and do it.
I had a disagreement with one of my previous bosses because they wanted me to do something outside of work. And I was like, no.
Right? Yeah.
Or no, because what I was doing is I was updating the instructions and checklists for running the exhibits at the zoo. Uh-huh. And I was updating those because they were outdated by like years. Mm-hmm. And this was actually a voluntary thing because I didn't really have anything else to do. Mm-hmm. And at one point they started giving me like almost no free time to do it, which makes sense. I mean, I have a job. I should be doing other stuff, not just stuff I voluntarily did. Yeah. But I just asked them, I was like, is there any time that you'd be able that you'd be able to just like have me come in for like an hour or two and then I could probably finish it up in that time.
Yeah.
And I get paid a little bit. That's great. And they basically told me to just do it on my own time and that's it.
What?
And I was like, I'm not And I was like, I'm
gonna
not
do work
I
when
was
I'm
like,
not getting paid for it.
Yeah, I was like, but then I won't get paid for it. And they're like, I know. And I'm like, then I'm not gonna do it. And they're like, why? And I was like, so I'm not getting paid for it. Like,
Right. Yeah. It's just so bizarre to me how many things that employers are just like, why can't you do that on your own time? Like,
So if there's a half completed checklist for one of the exhibits at the zoo, it was me.
well, I mean, kudos for you for, not being like, oh, sure, because that's BS.
I'm so done with school. I'm not taking homework assignments anymore.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No more 40 hours without getting paid.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
I had to pay to work 40 hours. That's not fair.
You know what? There's a whole argument with college about grades and stuff, and about how like if you pay your college tuition and you're going to the classes,
shouldn't fail.
You should get a degree because you've paid for the degree.
This is true.
And I was like, I didn't know how to respond to that because I see what they're saying.
I hate the rich assholes that just get everything because they have money, but at the
Right.
same time, I'm paying over $10,000 in tuition to go to a school.
Right.
And if I am attending every class, but I just can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it is a very interesting.
Especially since then, most of the time, it's actually the teacher's fault and not the student's fault.
It's I don't know about most of the time.
Well,
but,
not most of the time, but I mean,
but there are times. Yeah, there's times when teachers are like really super strict.
Professors don't need a degree in education to teach at a school.
They do not need a degree in education
to
correct.
teach at college.
They need a degree in the subject matter that they're teaching. But yeah, a lot of professors do not get pedagogy lessons, which shows. But yeah, I didn't know how to argue against that because on the one hand, I'm like, well, if you don't do the work, you don't deserve the degree. You know what I mean? But part of me is like, but you're paying to be here, which is why I think universal free college is a good idea because then it is actually merit-based.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not guaranteed a degree if you don't do the work and,
Especially since C's to get degrees, you don't even need to get A's. You just need to pass the class.
D's get degrees.
D's get degrees.
And well, I guess it depends on some colleges, like they have cutoffs and stuff, but
I think C's are just safer.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, there are times when I'm like, I can't believe this person is so bad at their job. And then I'm like, like just because they have a degree in that thing doesn't mean they're good at it.
For the classes I didn't like, I would just calculate how much I needed to get a C, and that would.
Oh my gosh, you are your father's son. I mean, I know that's an obvious statement, but he did the same thing.
I would go in, do a test. It would get me up to a B or a C because that's honestly what most grades are the tests, and then I'd be on my way.
See, I was too much of a high achiever to do that, which is why.
I ain't gonna do extra work.
Which is why what?
I said I ain't gonna do extra work. As I said, I'm not getting paid. Why would I do extra work?
That's funny. Which is why I respond well when I have respond well is relative, I guess. But if it's like, oh, I want to read 52 books this year. If I haven't reached that goal, then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I need to read more, and I'll read more. But again, is it actually worth anything because I'm reading stuff that I'm not interested in?
I definitely have to decide stuff myself, and there's a certain level of sophistication to that because obviously I can assign stuff to myself and then it doesn't work. But if I just am like, I just kind of want to do this thing. Like I just kind of want to actually do it and perform it, not just I should do this thing, so I'm going to assign it to myself. Then I will do it with flying colors, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so there were times in school where I would just do that, and I would get like an A in the class because I would actually like the class. Like I liked my Japanese culture class. That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And so I think the same goes for the New Year's resolutions. It's just like, I can't just be like, okay, I have to do this thing during this time frame, or even just I have to do this thing. It's
like homework for an entire year.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God.
But if you can look at it like a theme, this is my year of something, then that is a positive, like this is a positive thing I want. Like I want more reading in my life, or
Yeah.
this is my year of family. I want to spend more time with my family, or this is my year of creativity. I'm going to finally start doing all that stuff I wanted to do.
I think the best thing as well is the word start. Always think of the word start and not like, because I think what a lot of people think is they have to immediately get into it and then do it the whole year. The goal of that year is to just start doing it.
Interesting.
So by the end of the year, even if you had just gotten into it in November or December and you finally managed to pick yourself up on it, then you've succeeded for that New Year's resolution because you've started it.
Yeah, because you don't have a specific goal that you're supposed to meet by the end of the year of like if the year of reading, like reading so many books or something. Yeah. It's just, by the end of the year, I will have established a habit of reading more or something.
Yeah. And so that's why I think now that I am thinking about it, my New Year's resolution might just be just keep doing what I'm doing, which is just like even before I quit my job and everything, I was still budgeting and saving a lot, which is the only reason why I'm probably still afloat now is because I'm good at budgeting my money. And I've been eating healthier. I've been, which is not cheap, sadly. So those two things haven't really been correlating right now.
So ridiculous.
But then I also have been reading more this year, and I didn't even make a New Year's resolution last year, but I've been like significantly better. I blame Shelby. She's made me a better person.
Darn her.
I know.
Do you think that the theme, like it's better to have as simple a theme as possible or as broad a theme as possible? And let me give you an example. Like year of reading feels pretty specific. Like I'm going to read more.
But that's also pretty broad.
I mean, it is in terms of what you're reading.
Yes.
But it's specific like this activity. Whereas year of health could be very broad, could refer to exercising
more. It could refer
more.
to your sleep.
It could refer to sleep. It could refer to eating better. It could refer to a whole bunch of things. And I'm just wondering if psychologically is it better to have the broad thing? And so then you're like, I'm always going to be making the healthy choice. I'm just always going to try to make the healthy choice. Or is it better to have like one thing to concentrate on?
I think it depends on the person.
That's probably true.
For me, I think it's just simpleness, or I don't know, something easy to complete. Something I don't have to do every day, or I don't have to necessarily strive for. It can just be something really simple. Like if it was, even if it was something as specific as year of like eating healthy, then I wouldn't limit it to like every time I go to the grocery store, I have to get a healthy snack.
Oh, sure.
Because what if that week that I go to the store, none of the healthy snacks I usually get sound good to me?
Right.
Especially since you don't always have to eat healthy to be healthy. Like you are able to eat other things besides healthy stuff and remain
it's
healthy.
Not like you can never, ever, ever have a piece of chocolate again or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially so many people that like work out and stuff usually say that you don't really have to worry about calories and stuff to lose weight, because I mean, you don't really, because all calories do is give you more fat. But if you start losing the calories, then I think your body just kind of becomes more rubbery and less solid. So the fat's going away, but you're not really losing weight. If that makes sense.
Nope. Does not make sense. I'm not following what you're saying. Because calories can turn into fat, but not necessarily.
I might be thinking of a different thing then besides calories. I don't know. I'm also not a health guru, so I could also just be talking straight out of my ass for all I know. I was just trying to make an example. So if my example isn't accurate, then I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't even remember like what you said, but yeah, I keep debating because I've tried all kinds of different things to get healthier because I am unhealthy right now. Like this isn't just a vanity thing where I'm like, oh, I don't like the way I look. It's a I don't like the way I feel. You know, like I'm more lethargic. I don't like, you know, I've got a belly now, which I didn't always have. And like, that makes it more difficult to like bend over in different ways, like, cause my belly's in the way, you know, and like, it's just annoying. I hate it. And so like, that's the kind of thing why I was asking the question about like the year of health, because I really feel like starting with sleep is the way that I need to go. But there's also a part of me that wants to have some sort of like goal in mind or like some kind of thing that's reminding me like you should be eating more healthy or something. I don't know.
Well, I think year of health allows that still though, because if you discover that the sleep isn't what's helping you, then you can always switch it up without messing up your resolution.
That's true.
So,
And
if you decide the sleep isn't the way to go, because you can always have subcategories to your New Year's resolution.
Well, and I think the thing is that if one thing isn't going well, I could still be focusing on health in another area or something, you know. But yeah.
Or maybe you even discover there's a step before sleep.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe I theme each month then.
I think that's actually what
CPG Gray says.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he said that you could even do bi-monthly and stuff. Not bi-monthly, but each month.
Right. Yeah, that would actually really work for me if I thought, because if I could make a plan, I think that's the other thing is I need a plan. Otherwise, I get through a whole day and I go, oh man, I didn't exercise at all today. Because I didn't like plan it out.
My gosh, Shelby plans each hour of the day. I couldn't.
That is so opposite of you.
It is.
But I think, you know, maybe if it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get my rest in order in January. That is going to be like January is the sleep month. And then February is the healthy eating month, or like, you know, maybe even more specific than that. It's not eating a bunch of sweets in the evening or something, you know, like I think I could, if I could set out like a plan for myself and then I'll follow that plan. It's just every time I go to sit down and plan stuff, my brain is like, no. It's weird because I thrive with plans, and you know, your dad will say this to me all the time. He's like, I don't understand why you don't make yourself a schedule.
Shelby plans to plan.
She plans to plan.
It's like every Sunday at a certain time, she's supposed to plan out the next week.
But I sometimes do that too. But then I sit down and my brain is still like, but I don't know what to put where.
Well, then you just start out with something really simple then. You could even just simply start with like, this is what time I wake up each day. So I'm just going to put that in.
Oh, that's true.
And then you could do just like making breakfast or taking a shower or even just like combining it into morning routine.
You know what I think one of the reasons why I resist the scheduling is one, for a period of time, I was very rigid with schedules. And then if they got messed up, I got very upset. And your dad is unscheduled a lot of the time. And so like, he'd be like, do you want to do this? And I'm like, no, I planned on defragmenting my computer tonight, like, you know, or whatever. Like it was like, no, I already have plans for this evening. And he was be like, but what are your plans? Like cleaning out the closet, like, you know, and I couldn't separate myself from that. And so I'd get mad, like that he was like interrupting my plans.
See, I'm like kind of in a flowy state, but it's within like a day or so. So like, if you don't tell me something, I can't do it right there and then, because I was already planning on doing nothing. So you can't interrupt my plans of doing nothing.
I've never planned to do nothing, I have to say.
I don't plan to do nothing. It's just if nothing is happening that day and then someone asks me to do something, I can't just suddenly on a whim go do that thing because it's interrupting my nothingness.
Okay. Nihilism for the win.
Yes.
But yeah, so I resist. And then on top of that, I look at my schedule and I look at all the things I want to put in the schedule. And when I go to actually make the schedule, I realize there's not enough time. And so it's like, if I don't schedule, then I'm not facing that reality. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I can fit it in somewhere, you know? And,
I think the way that I used to, when I tried my hardest to actually schedule out my weeks and stuff, I would schedule free time. I wouldn't schedule stuff to do in my free time. I would just schedule time to do things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it would just be this time to this time is free time, is me time, is...
The weird thing is, though, is unless I have something planned, I never think to do the fun, creative things during that time. If I don't have anything planned, then I'm just like, oh, I should clean something, or I'll just watch TV, or like, it's weird.
Then write down the things that you want to do. And then when you have a break, you look at that list and then you do one of the things.
You know what I need to do? What I need to do is go, oh, from this time to this time, I'm going to paint. And then I'll get to that and I'll go, no, I don't want to do that scheduled thing. And then I'll write instead, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
My brain is like, nope, we're not going to do the scheduled thing at the scheduled time.
And sorry, I saw the pen and I saw it said smile, but when I looked at it at first, I thought it said smell and I was very confused.
No, it doesn't smell anything like anything. It says dream, love, laugh, hope, and then smile on it, which I kind of don't like because
smile.
That's all. You'd be so much prettier if you smiled. You know, yeah. Anyway, okay. So are you going to do year of reading?
I'm going to do year of being me.
Oh, that's an interesting. What does that mean?
I'll do what I want to do and don't do what I don't want to do.
How is that different from any other year?
Actually, it kind of is, because there are definitely times where I feel like I'm roped into things, especially when I was in school. Mm-hmm. And so I think now I'm going to try to stop myself from not doing things, if that makes sense.
I would say,
because there's a lot of times where I want to go hang out with my friends or something, but I just don't ask them.
Oh, really?
So my goal is to hopefully just ask them.
Oh, okay.
To do things.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, my only caveat would be don't take it to the extreme of, well, I don't like cleaning, I don't like cooking, I don't like, you know.
I'm not gonna do that.
Like that kind of thing.
No, it's just I love D&D. I continue doing D&D every week. Mm-hmm. That's one thing, is like I felt like my schedule was starting to get too busy for me to have 2 D&Ds every week. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, but I really want to keep playing in this group.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I don't really care if I'm busy anymore. I'm just going to do it because, like, why wouldn't I want to go play D&D with my friends just because I'm a little busy?
Right.
And
yeah, that's a hard one for me to keep in mind too, because when I feel busy, I want to just cut out the social stuff.
No, I would, if anything, I would rather cut out the job. So
I mean, fair, but bills.
Yeah. So my point is to, if I'm going to cut out anything, it's going to be the negative things. And if I'm going to add stuff onto my plate, then it's going to be the things I actually want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm kind of glad you said that, because I don't think this will go into my yearly theme, but one thing I do want to start doing is planning more social things, because I've realized I've become much of a hermit. And then I mean, I do have a couple of regularly scheduled like game night and then Sunday lunch. But it's with a very small group of people, and I'm not really branching out, meeting new people, doing different things. I feel like I want to, and I don't know if it's just because I'm accustomed, like we've had such a large community for such a long period of time. And I guess a lot of that was built in because your dad was a pastor.
Yeah.
And it's, I think I'm having a sad realization that, now that he's no longer doing that, we've lost like the big community of people because, it was mostly because we were gathering at church and you would hang out as part of the church community. And it's sad to me that like a lot of those people aren't coming around anymore. Cause I was like, well, I thought we were friends, but I guess not.
Perfectly happy with my small band of merry men. So
your small band of merry men.
Only one of them's actually like Mary though.
Well,
and you'll be playing with him in D&D
yes,
next year.
I'm aware.
It's year of D&D next year.
Oh yeah, that's definitely for sure.
Because first Thursday of next year is you're starting up D&D in my campaign.
Yes. So that'll be another thing. Maybe I need to make mine the year of trying new things or something. But yeah, no, I would really it's hard. I have to tell you, it's harder. The older you get, it's harder to make friends because you don't just have things built in like you do in school. And
well, right now I'm fine with the ones I got anyway. So
well, I mean, that's good. That's great. I guess I'm just used to having a wider community of friends. So like if we wanted to host the Super Bowl or not host the Super Bowl, but host a Super Bowl party, or if we wanted to have any other kind of party or whatever, like in the past, we would have, had a really full house. And I just don't know that that's the case anymore,
Yeah.
So
I mean, that is also what social media is for, to be fair.
I prefer people in person, but
I just meant like finding people to meet in person on social media.
Oh, finding people. Yeah. I need to get involved in something. Like that's the other thing, because I work remotely and your dad works remotely. Like we just don't meet people that we can hang out with. It's kind
of crazy. Like some groups I'm a part with. Like even though I don't do social media or something, every once in a while I'll see them or I'll see a post or notification will pop up on my phone or something. And it'll just be like a group of strangers like planning to go to Comic-Con or something together. And I'm like, that is the most wholesome thing that I never think of.
Yeah.
It's just be like, okay, who wants to come to Comic-Con? I'll pay for your ticket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I feel like that was much more common in the past because that was really the only way to get people to like, socialize with and stuff. But I think now it's become a false socialization on social media.
Yeah, social media is tricky. And I feel like I should clarify because I don't want any of my current friends to feel bad. I love my current friends. I love our game night group. I love our Sunday lunch group. They all make me very happy.
Oh my gosh.
I guess I just am. A
couple of which we've known for forever too.
Oh, I know. I mean, these are very, very long-term friends, and they're like the core of people I've known for a long time. Kind of always there, even when other people are coming in and out. You know what I mean?
Always lingering. Always watching.
But yeah, I guess I just miss having like a full house,
Never watched it.
A fuller house.
Never watched that either. Yeah, so good luck to your New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Make them according to you, not according to social agendas.
Yeah, maybe try to buck the trend and come up, because I think the three most popular ones are like improve mental health, exercise or diet more, and quit smoking. Yeah, I think it's like those three, which are all health related, which is good. That's good.
Yeah, your
goals
health
to have. Yeah, but I remember I had a friend who made a new resolution to do like one new thing each month or something, like try something completely new, and she had a really adventurous year. So I don't know, do something
A
fun.
lot of people also on like beginning of the year plan to backpack or something like that as well throughout like even a part of the year. Like it doesn't really have to encompass the whole year. If you just want to be like, I'm going to do this thing at some point this year.
Maybe it's just a goal that you're like, you know what, in November I want to take this trip, and so you find ways throughout the year to save up the money for that, or you know, or you learn a new language because you're going somewhere that doesn't speak English, or whatever you speak. So anyway, good luck with your New Year's resolutions. Hope they turn out well. Or if you don't want to make one, awesome. Don't feel the pressure to do that either.
Yeah, no, don't.
Yeah.
Just do what you want to do.
Yep.
Well,
time to go.